So, it is now a couple days later. I have given the glue I used a couple days to dry. It has a cure time of 2 to 7 days, so this might not be completely done, but it's solid enough that I can give this a tap and it's not going anywhere. So I think that's solid enough. The next thing I want to do is try to put in these studs on the walls. This is a 1 inch by 4 inch by 6 feet pine wood plank. So I bought 10 of these. I'm hoping that's enough. I might need a few more. If I do, it's no big deal. Just go back to Home Depot or whatever and buy some more. But I'm thinking of spacing out these every 1.5 feet, 2 feet, 1 feet, however much, just all up and down the wall, so that when I'm putting in cabinetry and other things, I have a sturdy anchoring point to screw into. So in order to do that, I have this down here. I have a, what is it called? Riv nut tool. It's called something like that. It's essentially a tool that will help me easily screw in bolts to these circle points here. There's a couple problems with this. This will be easy enough, but there's this plastic tubing, pipeline, whatever this is, that I believe is just shielding wiring that is going from the battery of the car, which is down at the front end, all the way down to these lights up here. I believe that's what this is. So this needs to go. So I'm hoping this is easy enough to just kind of like pull off over here. I was pulling at this just to test it, and it comes off fairly easily. So I'm hoping that's easy enough to come off. The other thing I need to do is down here, I'm assuming this circle, this hole right here, will be one connection point for the planks, the studs, up to this other connection point. I want to get rid of this little flimsy, whatever this even is, some kind of poly or plastic covering. I believe it's just held on by these little plastic knobs that I think just pop in. So I'm hoping those are easy enough to just take out, but that's what I'm going to do first here, is just try to get those out. So to try to pop these out, I had this kind of just weird pair of scissors here. They're thin enough that I'm hoping I just kind of slide right behind these knobs and pop them right out, but I'm not entirely sure, so here goes nothing. That can't be how I do all of these, though. I'm gonna have to think about this. Okay, so I had kind of a breakthrough. Looking at this, see how there's this inner outer ring, whatever that is? If I pop this out, which it comes out fairly easily, this just kind of slides out. Look, come on. Like so. And see how this middle piece is not in there anymore? I try to put that back. And that middle piece is in there. It prevents this from squeezing in, which kind of locks it. So if I'm able to pop this out easily, this should just kind of squeeze in and pull out pretty easily. I just did that once just to test the theory, and it worked pretty well, so I'm going to show that real quick. Okay, so I'm going to use these scissors, just kind of get in that outer ring and pop that out. Like so. That comes right out. And now, this pops out pretty easily. Just like that. Easy peasy. Not too bad. So I'm just going to repeat that for the other 20 or 30 of them. And I'll be back in a moment. Okay, and here we are. I have both of those rear panels off now. And now I have access to these holes that line up with the holes that are above them, so I can hopefully put the studs in and bolt them into those. I have access to the space back there so I can put insulation and stuff in. I've done both sides. Once I figured out how to pop those pins out, it was really easy to actually get them out. I just needed to get the first one out so I could see what they look like and how they really worked. But over here, there's my nice little collection. There's like 30 of them or something. But now the job is to actually put in the studs. I'm gonna see if I can one-hand this real quick. Okay, so I've got holes there. I'm thinking this lines up like that. There's a hole up here. And those just line up, bolt it in, and then I have a nice sturdy planking. The next thing I need to do though is get this out. This like duct right here. It's super flimsy, so I'm thinking you just pull right out. So I'm gonna do that now. So I have no idea what's holding this down. Yeah, see, that just comes right off. Feels like it's also just got little clamps that are holding it down. These just pop off underneath, which is nice and easy. It's loud. Doesn't sound great. There's little bits of plastic falling off, but I think it's fine. With that off, now I should be able to move this around so that when I put these planks in, I can get it nice and flush with this and put this either on the inside there or just around it or in front of it, however I need to do it, without that long plastic channel just kind of being in the way. Okay, so now that I have these covers off, I'm noticing what I think is a problem. This might be a little hard to tell on the camera, but do you see these holes? Those ones and these ones. Well, it might be a little hard to tell, but I don't think these quite line up exactly. I think they're all a little offset from each other. Which means if I put in a plank and I set it straight up, I'm going to cover this hole down here straight on. They don't really line up. So on my original plan, it's just putting them in and bolting them. I don't think it's really going to work. I think what I'm going to have to do is take two planks and place them horizontally connected to the frame of the truck. And then I can take more planks and connect those vertically, screwing them into the planks that are connected horizontally. I think that's what I have to do, because these definitely do not line up. And my only alternative, I guess I could have the planks be not straight up and down, but that sounds like a bad idea. I don't want to do that. I guess what I can do now is bolt in the ones horizontally, and then I can connect the vertical ones. And I guess that's what I need to do on both sides. There's one problem. I don't think I actually have the bolts for this. I have my riv nut tool, which is down there, which will help me create bolts into these. That's what's gonna create the kind of hole that the bolt will connect through. But I don't have the actual bolts to connect into the riv nuts. So I think I'm going to put the riv nuts in these, and then I'm gonna have to run to a hardware store and pick up the actual bolts. That's the next plan of action. At this point, I'm ready to use my riv nut tool in order to insert the riv nuts into these holes so that I have a anchoring point to screw bolts into that will hold down the studs. So this shouldn't take long. I'm just going to do this real quick. Give it a wiggle, and it looks good.
Sweet.
And about 10 minutes later, we have rib nuts. Rib nuts up top, rib nuts down below, rib nuts on the left side of the van, rib nuts on the right. We are ready to put in the planks. Before I do that though, there's one kind of big bummer obstacle in the way, and that's this. So the van was mostly blank, but it came with this kind of ceiling cover area over here that's kind of felt or whatever that is. It seems like it separates right over here where the driver's seat and passenger seat start. But this whole area up here is kind of awkward. When I didn't have the van yet, what I wanted to do was put cabinets up here and cabinets over here above this window. But the ceiling thing kind of makes that awkward. And I don't think I can just leave that ceiling because I don't think there's any insulation under it. And if I don't have insulation on that, that's like a fourth of the surface area of the van. That's a lot of heat and cold that would seep out and seep in. As much as I don't want to have to touch that, I do think I need to remove that. So I think I'm going to leave that to be a project for another day. For now, I'm pretty happy with getting the rib nuts in place, being ready to screw in the planks. I need to get these out of the way, the ceiling, and then I think we are really ready to get started with filling out the van, which I'm excited for. Thank you for watching. Catch you later.